Hey, your father kicked a bucket, huh?
He was such a kind father. I really loved him so much.
That's great. Now, we finally get the inheritance. Shall we go on a trip somewhere?
That sounds wonderful. Let's go on the family trip to Hawaii with that money. While I was crying in sorrow, neither of them offered a word of comfort. Instead, they were overjoyed, thinking they could inherit everything. I had to reveal a shocking truth to them. Huh? What are you talking about? We're divorced, you know?
What? You're kidding. I didn't know about this.
What do you mean? You can't get divorced without Aaron's consent. Amidst the panic of my husband and mother-in-law, I had already prepared and submitted the divorce papers beforehand. I would not let a single penny of my father's inheritance go to this despicable pair. My name is Melanie. I am 34 years old and work as a caregiver in a nearby nursing home. My husband, Aaron, is 4 years older than me and manages a real estate office. We met at a mixer hosted by an acquaintance. Back when I was 29, feeling the pressure to marry as I approached my 30s, I attended a mixer at a friend's invitation. But I got fed up with the rowdy man saying things like, "Hey, Melanie, drink up. You'll be glad you did once you're drunk, right? Come on, drink." I excused myself to the restroom to get some fresh air outside. That's when Aaron came over with a bottle of water, kindly telling me,
"Are you okay? I'll handle them. You should head home now."
Huh? I looked up to see Aaron offering his help. He then brought me my things and gave me a taxi fare to go home. I remember he was the only one who didn't get overly excited at the mixer, leaning against the wall all cool. I thought he was a kind person then and didn't expect to meet him again. However, later on, while I was taking a break at a cafe near my workplace, I bumped into Aaron.
"Oh, you're Melanie, right? From that time?"
I was pleasantly surprised that he remembered my name, even though he had looked so uninterested in the mixer. Yes, that's right. I'm Melanie. You're Aaron, right?
"You remembered my name?" "Yes, I'm Aaron. Do you come to this cafe often?"
You remembered my name too. I'm happy. Yes. This is the closest cafe to my workplace, so I often take breaks here. We have something in common, then. My workplace is just around the corner. What a coincidence! And so, we sat at the same table and started talking. From that day on, Aaron was often at the cafe, and we would chat during breaks. About a year after meeting Aaron, we started to see each other as more than friends and began dating. Our relationship went well, and last year, on our second anniversary, Aaron proposed to me and we got married. I was looking forward to our happy days ahead. However, one day, my husband told me his mother would be visiting our house.
"Melanie, my mom is coming over to visit today."
Your mother is coming? I asked, just as the doorbell rang.
Oh, look, she's here.
My husband is still excited like a child at the idea of his mother visiting, even though he's almost in his 40s. He's been like this since we were dating. Aaron is a quintessential mama's boy. He even climbed his way to the position of store manager through connections his mother had. I love Aaron, but this aspect of him is the one thing that really puts me off. Aaron, it's been so long!
Mom, you shouldn't have come all this way. Come in.
Seeing me, the mother-in-law makes a displeased face. Oh, Melanie is here? The mother-in-law is currently 68 and living on her pension. She has 2 children, a daughter and her son, Aaron. She divorced when Aaron was still in elementary school and has been a single mother since. Her daughter is married and lives in LA, so they hardly meet. However, Aaron and his mother frequently stay in touch, and she visits our house like this at least once a month. It seems like my mother-in-law, who adores her son, always looks displeased to see me, probably thinking I've taken her son away. Mother, long time no see. Is there something special today? What's that supposed to mean? Do I need a reason to come? No, not at all. I was just wondering because today is the start of the Independence Day holiday. Indeed, it's the beginning of the Independence Day holiday for most people. Since today was the first long holiday since I married Aaron, I had been planning since yesterday to go to the beach or take a day trip somewhere. I'm staying over at this house for the Independence Day holiday starting today.
Oh, you're staying over from today? How long will you be here?
Well, maybe until the last day of the Independence Day holiday. Where are we going today?
Oh, right. There's a festival near the park today, and they'll have fireworks too. Let's go together. And just like that, my husband and his mother are excited, completely ignoring me. Staying over for the entire Independence Day holiday? Wait, Aaron, I didn't hear anything about this. Weren't we supposed to go out just the 2 of us today? Oh, did I not mention I was planning to go out with the 3 of us, including Mom?
3 of us? And you're telling me this all of a sudden? We don't even have a place for her to sleep. I was indirectly trying to tell my husband to stop, but he didn't get the hint at all.
We can use the living room for sleeping. I'll go buy some mattresses now. Besides, Mom will cook for us. So, Melanie, you can take a break from household chores during the Independence Day holiday.
It's not about wanting a break from chores and... What? Melanie, do you have a problem with me staying over?
Yeah, Melanie, that's pretty harsh.
No, that's not what I mean. I had no choice but to deny it, while thinking, of course I'm not happy about this. And so, the mother-in-law ended up staying every day during the Independence Day holiday.
Okay, I'm off to buy a mattress.
And he rushes out of the house. That along with my mother-in-law, I'm really fed up with my husband's selfish behavior. And from the next day,
Isn't this place nice? Let's go together tomorrow.
My husband would suggest excitedly.
Oh, that's great. Mom will love it too. and he ends up taking his mother along on all our dates. Ultimately, I couldn't spend any quiet time alone with my husband or go out together during the Independence Day holiday. But today is the last day of these days. I was sad that the long-awaited Independence Day holiday was ending, but I was more relieved that my mother-in-law was leaving.
Thank you for having me for so long,
my mother-in-law says as she picks up to leave, but Aaron suddenly blurts out,
"Hey, Mom, you're leaving? Oh, right. Why don't you live here from now on?"
I was about to explode at my husband. What? But my mother-in-law, on the other hand, lights up.
Really? I can't believe my son would suggest that. I'm so blessed to have such a good son.
Wait a minute. I tried to stop her and turned to Aaron. Aaron, why are you deciding this on your own? Listen to my opinion too.
What? What's your problem? You're not planning on sending Mom back to live alone, are you?
It's just too sudden. We have our own lives to consider. Can't you think about this calmly?
Were you always this unpleasant? Anyway, Mom's going to live with us from now, so don't interfere.
And he starts yelling. Hearing her son's words, the mother-in-law looked extremely happy.
Then I'll pack my things right away and move in.
She cheerfully left the house. I'm not good at voicing my opinions, but I couldn't say anything with these two, who just don't understand. A few hours later, the mother-in-law arrived at our house with loads of luggage. The cohabitation began, almost forcefully. The days that followed were the worst. When I returned from work, there would only be 2 plates of food on the dining table. What's this about?
You don't have a plate, so go buy something from the store.
I was told, clearly harassed.
Why don't you just leave the house?
She'd say every day, making me finally ask, Mother, do you really hate me that much? Did I do something to make you dislike me? My mother-in-law replied,
Yes, I hate you. Not for any particular reason. I just can't stand your existence.
My existence? You're trying to monopolize Aaron. How despicable. And she shooed me away. I reached my limit and decided to persuade my husband to reconsider living with his mother. I can't take it anymore. Your mother is always harassing me and making mean comments. I can't live with her.
What's with you? So annoying. You're the one with the attitude problem, not her.
What? Me? That's ridiculous. I've been putting up with everything quietly.
Liar. Mom complained about Melanie's bad attitude. I believed Melanie wouldn't do such a thing, but after hearing what you said today, now I see.
You believe her over me?
Of course.
That's awful. If you like your mother so much, you should have married her. I regretted my words as soon as they slipped out. But my husband nonchalantly said,
If she weren't my mom, I would have married her.
What? I was appalled by my husband's statement.
Anyway, if you say anything more against my mom, we're getting a divorce.
What? Divorce?
Yes, that's right.
What is he even talking about? Why doesn't he care about me at all?
Here, I've had this prepared for a while. A divorce paper. If you can't live with my mom, then we're getting divorced.
He threw a filled-out divorce paper on the floor. I couldn't believe he had prepared a divorce paper. While I was enduring the harassment from my mother-in-law, my husband had been preparing a divorce paper as a threat to make me continue living with her. I see. Okay, I'll leave the house for now. Let's take some time to think things over.
Oh, cool off for a while,
he said, as if I were the one to blame. Though I could have submitted the divorce paper immediately as my husband threatened. Divorcing impulsively in the heat of an argument didn't seem right. Moreover, my father was so happy about my marriage, being his only daughter. I didn't want to upset him with a quick divorce, so I chose to separate for the time being instead of divorcing. I hoped that with time, my husband and his mother would come to rethink their behavior. The next day, I returned to my parents' house and explained everything to my dad. He was quite surprised to see me return so suddenly, but said,
"Are you okay? Don't push yourself. As long as you, Melanie, are happy and yourself, that's all we wish for. Here, stop being down and eat some meat. Eat meat."
He offered me my favorite meat, trying to comfort me in his clumsy way. "Thank you. The meat is delicious," I said, eating the meat while crying. My father owns a famous barbecue restaurant and is a successful entrepreneur with several stores. My mother passed away from cancer last year, so now he lives alone. Since I was a child, he worked from morning to night, but he always made sure to take me to amusement parks, aquariums, and parks on his days off. I always loved my father, who is capable, kind, and strong. About 2 weeks after separating from Aaron, my father returned home with a somber face. "What's wrong?"
"Actually, I have stomach cancer."
"What? Cancer? Why? Why now you too?"
"Melanie, I'm sorry. I just lost your mother that year, and now this."
My father said weaker than usual. But it can be treated, right?"
"No, it's already spread elsewhere."
"That can't be."
"It's a tough time for you two, being separated and all. I'm sorry for causing trouble."
"I don't care about myself. Why? Why does it have to be you, Dad?" I said and broke down crying. Fortunately, I am a caregiver and am currently separated. I decided to dedicate myself to supporting my father until the end. A few days later, I received multiple calls from my husband. I called back.
Well now, why haven't you come back? It's been over 2 weeks. Come back soon.
"I just found out Dad has been diagnosed with cancer. I'm going to take care of him from today, so I'm not coming back."
Well, fine. I've got my mom here. If your dad dies, come back then.
I was appalled by my husband's heartless words. I thought, well, fine, if he dies. Every word he says is just the worst. Was he my husband? I felt something inside me snap. For a while, I took a break from work and cherished every moment with my father.
Melanie, thank you for everything, day after day, for such a father like me.
What are you saying? When I was little, you always took care of me every day, right? It's no different now. I'm happy to be living together again.
You've grown up to be such a kind person. I'm a lucky father. Melanie, you must also find happiness.
Dad, thank you. I'm glad you're my dad. A few days later, my father passed away. I was too busy with the wake and funeral to even grieve. While sorting through my father's belongings, my husband called me. I didn't want to talk to him and ignored it, but he called every day. He was so persistent. I blocked his number without hesitation. Honestly, I didn't care about my mama's boy husband anymore. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. I looked through the intercom, and there were my husband and mother-in-law. What? Why? What are you doing here?
You wouldn't answer the phone. I had to come all this way to see you.
I didn't want to think about it anymore. My dad passed away. Speaking in a hoarse voice, the words my husband offered were not of comfort but the worst kind.
Oh, cancer, right. So your father kicked the bucket, huh?
He was such a kind father. I really loved him so much.
Melanie, your mother also passed away recently, right? That means all your father's inheritance goes to you, right? That's great. We finally get the inheritance. Shall we go on a trip somewhere?
That sounds wonderful. Let's use that money for a family trip to Hawaii.
What? Are you serious? Are you saying this?
Your father was a successful businessman. Quite wealthy, right? With the inheritance, we could probably go to Hawaii for a week.
Neither my husband nor mother-in-law, who were overjoyed at the prospect of inheriting everything, offered a single word of comfort to me, crying in sorrow. After not seeing these two for a while, they were still the same despicable pair. Time to tell this misguided duo the truth. Huh? What are you talking about? We're divorced, you know?
Bleh?
That's right. Aaron and I are now strangers, so Aaron won't get a penny of my father's inheritance. That's right. My father's last words to me, "Be happy," made me decide to divorce. I am determined to be happy for both my late mother and father. My happiness could not be found with my husband and his mother. I was sure of that.
Oh, no way. I didn't hear about this. When did you submit that thing?
What do you mean? You can't divorce without Aaron's consent. Don't talk nonsense.
My husband and mother-in-law were in frantic panic. Aaron, did you forget? You gave me the divorce papers already filled out, complete with your sign, remember? After thinking for a while, Aaron muttered, He finally remembered.
That divorce paper was just a joke. I used it to scare you a bit. Did you submit it to the city office?
Of course. With you and your mother being such scum. I didn't even want to see your faces anymore. Divorcing you was the right decision.
What? Aaron, why did you give her that? We were planning the trip together soon with the inheritance. What about our trip abroad now?
My mother-in-law, shaking my husband's shoulder. Oh, planning such things. You're truly despicable. I was deeply mourning my father's death, and you were waiting for his death? How disgusting.
Sorry, but the inheritance, you could share a bit, right?
Are you stupid? I've already inherited it under my name. And why would I give anything to a stranger like you?
But that's a harsh, isn't it?
Harsh? Who's the harsh one here? They probably didn't expect me to raise my voice. For a moment, my husband and mother-in-law flinched. I've always been in agony living with you two. Just when I thought I was finally free. What's next? Inheritance, you say? It's just sickening. Get out of this house right now. Exploded in anger. Finally getting the message, my husband and mother-in-law trudged away, defeated. Afterwards, there was a bitter argument.
It's because of your harassment that Melanie left.
My fault! It was you who wrote the divorce papers as a threat.
What? My fault? Remember who got us this house in the first place?
Their blame game continued, leading to a falling out. My mother-in-law eventually left the house and now apparently lives alone in a small apartment, managing on her pension. As for my husband, he had been working in real estate through his mother's connections, but after falling out with her, he became estranged from those contacts too. Consequently, he couldn't continue his real estate job. He was always a man who couldn't do anything on his own, losing his job just because his mother wasn't around. It's pathetic. Now he's scraping by with a meager living, juggling part-time jobs. As for me, I've fallen in love with a younger guy at work. Hey, Melanie, would you like to have dinner together today, please? He asked, reaching out his hand. It was a clumsy invitation, but I said, I'd be delighted. You've made a reservation, right?
Of course. You said you love meat, right? I've booked a barbecue restaurant. No, our first date is at a barbecue place? That's not very romantic.
Please don't say that, he said, snuggling up close to me. This younger guy, he's just so adorable. Mom, Dad, I'm going to be happy this time, for sure. And so I spoke to my parents in heaven.